years and 141 days. What an early career he is having. It's all smiles on the red side of Manchester.
Red.
Champions League spots is well and truly on. Graham Lasso, thank you very much for your company. Final score, Manchester City 0, Manchester United 1. Rebecca, it's back to you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Just imagine how this young man feels right now. It may be a disappointing season for Manchester United, but they're unbeaten against City, and it will get a lot sweeter if they qualify for the Champions League at their neighbours' expense. The Red Half of Manchester will be out in force tonight, all because of an 18-year-old local lad. Robin Austin, we just saw a shot there of Louis van Gaal. He deserves credit, a man who's been under immense pressure all season long.
Just when you think this guy is down and out, he produces a performance and a result like that. You know, again, with 2 games against Liverpool, he can't get through in the Europa League. Against a City team that you would expect and you would hope that would be wanting to secure and fight for that top 4 place. They didn't. Manchester United wanted it more today and needed it more, and it totally showed in the game.
Kyle, what's happened to City?
Too often they start games in cruise control and finish them in 5th gear. They take so long to get in the match. At the end of the game, it didn't look like they could get back into it. Manchester United sit back a little bit with the lead, but it just takes them so long to show that care and that initiative. And before this game, we were talking about Manchester United might be creeping towards having nothing to play for. If Manchester City won, they would have been 7 points clear. They've got the FA Cup replay at the Bowling Ground, which few teams have been able to go win. But all of a sudden, in this league, it switches so quickly, where Manchester City now have to play PSG in the Champions League. PSG have already won their league. They're going to be resting players and focusing on that. And now the top 4 is creeping away from them.
Exactly. I mean, can you imagine that for Pep Guardiola to come in and City not be in the top 4? They've got 2 wins in their last 10 games in all competitions. An awful time to be in bad form, bad confidence.
Videoing.
They've got to pull it around, because United now with that will bump forward. These young players playing really well. Top 4 fight is going to be fascinating in the running.
You're right, a penny for the thoughts of Pep Guardiola, the future Manchester City manager. Louis van Gaal this week made no bones about it. He said they had to win today or they can forget the top 4. They've done it courtesy of the first Mancunian to score in a League Manchester derby for 6 years.
Mancunian?
We've got tons on the way. As Prince Harry overtakes Jamie Vardy as the Premier League's leading scorer, and Spurs pull back within 5 points of the top. A full recap of the 2 earlier games, the calm big one at Southampton and Newcastle earning a draw to snap Sunderland's 6-match time win derby winning streak, and you'll see that celebration again. We'll see momentarily with Marcus Rashford's opening goal.
What's so impressive, Rebecca, is the range of goals that he's scoring in so many different ways. And this is an individual effort. Watching makes Di Michele swing, miss, balance, composure, but an outstanding finish.
And they were pretty happy in Cape Town with that. 20 minutes in, injury for United.
They didn't go good for the other Manchester youngster on the City side. Raheem Sterling, he takes a challenge here. That's not what hurts him. As he falls, you see him just reach for his groin area and wasn't able to continue.
My bad injury for Manchester City, of course. 45 plus 2, big penalty claim, Robbie.
Big penalty claim, and it should have been awarded. Rashford again there. Di Michele, who had an absolute nightmare in this game, is just lazy, reaches in again, totally takes out the player. That should have been a penalty awarded, but it wasn't given.
Louis van Gaal not happy at half-time, though. United lead by a goal to 0. Injury for City again, Joe Hart this time, Robbie.
Yeah, very worrying. Paris Saint-Germain coming up in the Champions League. He's got a short ball from Demichelis there to come out and clear that ball under pressure. And after this, this is the last action he does in the game there. He reaches down and straight away holds the back of his right leg there and was unable to continue. That's a big concern for this football club, the games that are coming up.
The news from the tunnel was it is a calf injury. They don't yet know how severe it is. Sergio Aguero hitting the woodwork on 66.
Yeah, the most likely attacker again. Ronnie was very, very poor. Good work from Yaya Toure. And Aguero's just going to find himself. He times his run really well and gets a strong header in. Let's see a little bit past the near post. He is there. It's hard to score when that run takes you past that near post.
The degree deodorant do more moments. Michael Carrick involved, Carl.
And he had many moments, but this was one of his best. He joined the back line at times when they were under stress. And right here, it's just the awareness to make a little adjustment to go make this challenge. And there are many players that would ball watch and not understand where the danger is. And look at how many red jerseys are there, and none of them find well for Body. He's the one that reads it quickly and saves a goal.
Into stoppage time, City pressing for that equaliser.
And this was that moment I was just talking about. Manchester City ended up in fifth gear. It just took them so long to get there. And you expect Sergio Aguero to at least put that on target. They only hit 3 shots of their 26 on target.
All 3 points go the way of Ryan Giggs and Louis van Gaal. Manchester City, look at this. February the 1st was the day that Pep Guardiola was announced he will be their next manager. They were second on that day, 3 points behind Leicester City on 44. Today, they're fourth. 51 points, a full 15 behind the league leaders as the season draws to a close. Let's hear from their manager, Manuel Pellegrini.
Manuel, was that one of those days where just nothing went right for you?
Yes, I think so, because I think the whole game was a team that wanted to win, was a team that played during 95 minutes, but missed our chance. We made a mistake in their goal, and well, after that we tried to do different ways, but we could.
What was the mistake you made for the goal?
Well, too easy the way he goes inside our box.
Too square, the defender.
It's a defender not doing that in the right way. That's why he could score.
You seem to get yourself back more into the game in the second half, but couldn't quite take your chances.
I think in the first half, before they scored the goal, we had the complete dominion of the game. We were playing very well. We have really 3 or 4 clear options to score. We couldn't do it. Maybe after the goal we have some minutes that we didn't do it well. But the whole second half, I think that was a good performance with a very good attitude, but we couldn't score.
Did it sum up the day, the injury to Joe Hart? What is it and how bad is it?
Well, Joe has a problem, injury calf, so we cannot know in this moment what is it, but it's just a muscle injury. Muscle is never less than a half.
What damage has it done in terms of the league table, do you think so?
Well, we lost very important 3 points because also one of the teams that's fighting also for a Champions League spot for the next season, but we're not going to give up. We continue in the 4th position. And now, till the end of the season, it's another competition with all the teams, with Arsenal, with maybe with Tottenham, with United, with Ham, all the teams that are involved to try to restore position.
Can you put your finger on as to why you're not as strong as you were at home, particularly last season?
And I'm talking about the game and nothing more.
I'm asking about your home form.
Well, Manuel Pellegrini walking out of an interview. It's not often, I'm not sure I've ever seen Pellegrini leave an interview. He is leaving the club at the end of the season. Clearly not a happy man after today's game. Marlo White and Graham Rousseau join us once more from the Etihad Stadium. Gentlemen, we saw the graphic before we heard from Pellegrini. They have certainly slipped since the news that he is leaving and Guardiola is taking over. What are your thoughts from Manchester City's perspective today?
This charming man has become this irritated man, I think, after the game, and City's form hasn't been good, particularly at home. That's their 5th defeat. Graham, they stumbled upon, tactically, something that worked for them after the Sterling injury. You thought that was a big deal during the game?
Well, I think it's a great reflection on Manuel Pellegrini, actually. The fact that Carrick was dictating everything, and none of the Manchester City players, initially Aguero or Silva, weren't detailed to go and cause him problems out of possession. And it was only when Sterling went off and Toure went there that City started to get some rhythm into the game and cancelled out that threat and that opportunity that Carrick was getting because he had so much freedom. So, you know, you have to question the sort of the pre-match analysis from Pellegrini, or maybe he just felt that his team were good enough to sort of to take the game to Manchester United, but that didn't prove to be the case.
Louis van Gaal said his side had to win, and they've closed that gap on the top four on City now to 1 point. How impressed are you with Marcus Rashford?
Oh, he's fantastic. He's got so much maturity for a young player. He hardly put a foot wrong today. His decision-making in terms of when and where to run, when to receive the ball, when to give it, when to play at first touch, everything he did was exceptional for a man of that young age.
Rebecca, one more thing from us
Yes.
before we hand back. And on behalf of Graham and Lee and Stephen, the entire team here, we know it's your final show before you head away on maternity leave. We will miss you. We'll see you soon. And we wish you all the best.
Arlo, Graham, thank you very much indeed. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You've raised your children in the studio. You need to raise your own.
Let's talk about Manuel Pellegrini. Very interesting that he walked away from that interview. Never seen him like that before.
No, and I think that speaks to how bad that situation is, that he dealt with some of the most difficult things, whether it was Jose Mourinho poking at him to try to get a rise out of him, or the new manager that's